All right, guys. It is late Saturday night right now, and we are about 13 and a half hours away from kickoff in Tennessee, and this one's going to be interesting. Let's go with that word, interesting. For the first time since 2005, the Seahawks are flying into Tennessee to play the Titans, and it's going to be an illuminating game, I think, because I mean, the secret is out. There's no hiding behind anything at this point when it comes to this Seattle Seahawks offense. Everybody who watches football, whoever you root for, or if you root for anybody at all, they understand that something through the first 2 weeks is really wrong with this offense. The Green Bay game, you can write it off. We had some calls not go our way. We were playing on grass, which always hurts this team. Um, it was the first time a lot of our offensive linemen were playing those positions, and you can kind of write some of that off when the offense sucks in Green Bay. And then last week happened, and suddenly you can't really write it off. And you basically just look like complete crap for 50 minutes against a 49er defense that a few days later gave up 41 points to Jared Goff. So there's no secret now. There's no making excuses. There's no writing off the initial performance. As of right now, there's something really wrong with this offense, and if it doesn't get better, it's tough to imagine going into Tennessee and beating a team like the Titans. Not a great team, but they would be good enough to win a game if your offense just plain doesn't show up. So Tennessee, it's going to be the Tennessee defense is not very good. They're not very good at tackling. They blow a lot of coverages. They give up a lot of big plays. So far this year they haven't been that bad, but if you take a look at the personnel they have on that defense, you can see that they have the potential to give up a lot of points in games. But for all of that, they do have some guys who can get after the passer, guys like Brian Arakpo, just as one example. And that could be enough if this team doesn't take some strides forward this week, because independent of blown coverages and missed tackles, none of that stuff matters if your offense can't even get things started because of the offensive line not performing. So we are absolutely capable of scoring in the single digits if the offense plays the way they did against the 49ers and the Packers. So we can't just lean on a lackluster Titans defense and expect that's just going to take care of everything. So on that front, it's going to be an interesting challenge for this team. And beyond that, the Titans offense, they were expected to be a big time offense this year. We don't know if we're going to get that yet. We still don't know how good Marcus Mariota is. I liked him a lot coming out of college. Right now, I'm not so sure. They invested money in a bunch of different wide receivers, tight ends, running backs. They were really trying to assemble a complete and deep offense this offseason. And as of right now, Corey Davis is hurt. He's not going to play tomorrow. DeMarco Murray is hurt. He's probably not going to play tomorrow if I had to guess, but DeMarco Murray might be washed up now anyway, so it arguably doesn't even matter. And even with all of that, the Titans have a really good offensive line. They've invested a lot of things into that offensive line. So right away, I'm concerned that they're going to win quite a few battles in the trenches, because we might have the best defensive line in the league. Titans are in the conversation for having the best offensive line in the league. So they're going to win a fair amount of the time. And I still believe in this defensive line. I believe they're phenomenal. I know they didn't have their best game against the 49ers, and some of that stuff was not okay. They needed to play better, but I still believe that this defensive line is great, but I don't believe they're going to be able to win a game like this single-handedly. The Titans' offensive line has been a focal point for this team for the last couple years. And even though that offense might not be as good as some people were thinking it might be, even though they're missing some of their key players, like I said, Corey Davis and DeMarco Murray, you know they're going to win some battles out there tomorrow. And basically, what I'm trying to get at is we will lose this game if the offense doesn't improve significantly from the first 2 weeks. And because everybody was talking about how the offense is clearly bad right now this week, the team is aware. The team knows what people are talking about. So that's why it was the subject of conversation at Pete Carroll's press conferences quite a bit. That's why it came up a bit in conversations with Tom Cable. And basically, it's probably silly to think this, but I almost feel like the buzz around the team motivated the coaching staff to decide to, I suspect, bench Mark Lewinsky, because I don't think he's going to be starting tomorrow. If he does, I think there's going to be a very short leash on him. I think he will get the hook very early in the game if he doesn't perform. If he makes one mistake, he could just be gone in favor of Ode Ibushi. And part of me actually doesn't even expect him to get even that chance, because the offense has looked so bad the first 2 weeks that I almost feel like the team was just almost obligated to do something, because you don't want to be Kevin Bacon in Animal House when everything is falling apart around him and he's trying to just tell everybody that all is well, everything's fine, and then he ends up getting, I think, he gets run over by a car at the end of the scene or something. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be Kevin Bacon. You want to respond to clear signs that things are not right. And as for this game, I believe that we will win. I'm not confident about it. I'm not positive about it. I think we're going to find a way to produce some stuff on offense. I have to believe that after this entire week of having the entire world talking about how your offense sucks, that you do something about it to make it better. I can't believe that this team is going to go out there and give us the exact same product we've had for the past 2 weeks after hearing everything that was said, after getting embarrassed last week despite the win. So I believe they're going to do it. I believe they're going to win. I believe they're going to score 20 points plus, and I think that'll be enough. Now, I was reading some stuff about the Seahawks this week, as I'm sure a lot of people did, because it's a complicated time to be a fan right now. And a bunch of stuff I was reading basically said, oh, September football is basically just extended preseason and nothing you see in September matters. And I understand that, and I know that there are people out there who are saying, oh, Seattle's right on schedule. Seattle is going to figure this out by week 6, week 7, week 8, and then they're just going to run a train on the whole league for the rest of the season. But I'm thinking about the teams that made the Super Bowl, for the Seahawks teams that went to the Super Bowl, that won the Super Bowl in one case these past few years. And then I'm thinking about the Seahawks teams that went out in the second round, that won one playoff game and then just bowed out pretty softly. And the difference is that Seahawks team that won the Super Bowl, most namely, found ways to win these early games, because, yeah, we didn't play well early in the season in 2013. I'm mainly thinking about 2013, that team that won the Super Bowl. We didn't play well in a lot of those games, but we found a way to win them even when we didn't play well. Week 1 against Carolina in 2013, we scored a late touchdown with Jermaine Kearse. We forced a big fumble in the red zone, and we ran out the clock. And we won a game 12-7. It wasn't pretty, but we won it. And off the back of that, we started the season 4-0, and we were positioned, beautifully to just cruise through the rest of the regular season from there and end up 13-3. And then I think about a team like the 2015 Seahawks. Now, the 2015 Seahawks had the MVP of the league for the second half of the season. Nobody in the NFL played better than Russell Wilson in the second half of the year. He had a run where he had like 16 touchdown passes and 0 picks over 4 games or something like that. He was off the charts for 8 games, and we went 10-6 and barely won a wild card game before getting blown out in the divisional round. Because that year we weren't winning those close games at the start of the season. We started at 4-5, and all those great performances in the second half of the season by the wide receivers and Russell, almost, you wouldn't say it was wasted, but it felt like it was wasted because you were still, at the end of the day, a 10-win team that eked out one playoff win because you started out so slow. So these games in September and even October, they matter. And to me, winning these close games, these tough games when your offense isn't 100% engaged yet, is the difference between being a Super Bowl team and being a one playoff win and then you're done team. So big test tomorrow for sure. And I'm gonna trust the team to figure something out enough to win this game. I just cannot believe that this unit of players and these coaches are going to allow the offense to look this pathetic for a third week in a row. But this is going to be a tough one. That's about the best I can say. So I'll try to make a video after the game. So see y'all tomorrow.